AudioSpiel, the organic audio experience. Use the spiel.
Welcome to this week's episode of AudioSpiel, where we discuss all things music and we are not afraid to tell it how it is. In this episode, we will discover why Rush Limbaugh is getting flack from the music community, and who in the music industry we could be following and who we should be avoiding like the plague. This week's episode of AudioSpiel is brought to you by the new album Ashby by the Squatches. Find them on iTunes or check them out at thesquatches.com. Hi, welcome to this week's episode of AudioSpiel. We've got Dave Dangerfield and Brad Griffin here. This week in music news, we've got Tom Morello stirring up trouble with old Rush Limbaugh. He posted on his latest feed, he says, "To Rush Limbaugh, hate jackass. Stop using our music on your racist, misogynist, right-wing clown show. Sincerely, Rage Against the Machine."
Oh, boy. Oh, well, all I have to say to that is if he's concerned about having his music associated with racists and misogynists, he should probably stay away from the movement that has to have rape-free zones for women. And
for sure.
It would also be handy if you'd stay away from the groups that are highly anti-Semitic, always using those Jewish slurs and every now and then yelling at only the black police officers the N-word. It's kind of racist. It's pretty hypocritical of Tom Morello to go after one person that he disagrees with politically, but then to go play free concerts for this whole group of people who are doing the things that he's complaining about Mr. Limbaugh doing.
Isn't Tom Morello supposedly self-served, thinking that he's a communist at most times?
Oh, yeah, he's a big commie.
And it seems to me that communists are pretty racist in their own right, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, you look back at the USSR and Mao and all those other guys, the big official commies, and they killed a ton of people. They're not very tolerant of others. And they don't appreciate those who don't follow lockstep or aren't exactly like them in thought and in many cases in appearances.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Morello, you're a good musician, but how about you just stay out of people's lives who report the news? I mean, you're not necessarily a news reporter yourself.
Well, and let's be honest, he's not that good. He hides behind effects all the time. I know he does his Night Watchman acoustic stuff, but that's just, run of the mill. It's nothing amazing.
And while we're on that note, I think, you know what, Tom Morello, you're a good musician, good at playing guitar, you've got some things that nobody else can do, but your vocals, just... What's that all about? I mean,
that's true.
Sounds more like he's talking in a children's story than singing.
A very disturbing children's story.
Yes, very communistic type children's story. So would you say that old Rush Limbaugh deserved this kind of criticism from Tom Morello?
Well, he was... everybody will say that, yeah, I mean, saying those things about somebody is not a kind thing to do. And I wouldn't have done it, especially on national airwaves when I have millions of people who listen to me every day. It's not something you do out loud. So, I think it sure, you can go ahead and say, oh, I don't want to be associated with this. But my problem is when they don't say, well, I don't want to be associated with this, no matter who is saying it. I mean, Tom Morello, a while ago, was with Michael Moore on Bill Maher's show on HBO. Now, has he ever listened to anything Bill Maher has ever said about anyone he disagreed with who's female?
Not that I can think of.
There's the T word, the C word. It's horrible. He is a misogynist. There should be a picture of him next to the word in the dictionary. It should be Bill Maher. I don't care if you disagree politically with anybody. You don't say the things that he says. But Tom Morello sits right next to him and, hawks his CDs on television.
Yes, he does.
The big communist that he is. Buy my CD. So there's a huge problem for me when there's the inconsistency.
Yeah, you got to practice what you preach. That's not the only bashing that came to poor old Rush Limbaugh. Looks like also Rush, the band, decided to speak out. And what they say is that for once we actually agree with copyright laws. And here's what it says in the news. Rush, the Canadian rock group, is pissed at Rush Limbaugh. Rush, the band, realized that the conservative radio host was playing their epic anthems on air and sent Limbaugh's show a cease and desist letter demanding their music no longer be used on the air. I mean, okay, a Twitter feed is one thing, just saying, hey, quit using our music, but to actually go after the guy with a lawsuit saying to pull off their music from the air, I mean, doesn't he have rights to play any music he wants on the radio? I mean, isn't that free to play?
I'm not sure. Maybe if he put commentary about the music on afterwards, or he turned it into a parody, he could totally get away with that. But I'm pretty sure that if he's making money, which he does from sponsors, which I still understand he has sponsors, then he probably can't use their stuff without permission. They would have to pay royalties.
So he could be in some old hot water then with Rush. Rush versus Rush. That sounds like a celebrity death match right there. Yes.
Yeah, does that show still on?
Who do I vote for? Rush or Rush?
Well, let's go for Rush. So, yeah.
Let's put a Vegas wager on that and say Rush versus Rush. You win either way.
Right. So, Rush the band. They have every right to, not want their music associated with something, especially if he's using it in a way that would be applicable under copyright laws. Then they can go after him. But again, I say, be consistent.
Do you think that Rush, the band, is mad at Rush because their music is being played, or do you think that they're more upset about this latest baffle that Rush Limbaugh's got himself in with Sandra Fluke? About saying that she was a hussy on air. Do you think that they're more mad about that, or do you think they're
wasn't
more...
hussy, but
well, I'm just trying to clean it up.
The kids are here, huh? Well, I don't know. They could very well be concerned that it's degrading to women and it's not a kind thing. Like I said before, I don't know actually enough about the band Rush. I do know a bit about Tom Morello to say he's a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, Tom Morello. Now Rush, I don't know, and I don't know if they have had their music on Bill Maher's show or any of these other shows. Al Sharpton, has Al Sharpton ever used Rush? Have you heard the things this guy says? He's always talking about the Chinaman and quote the Greek homos and the crackers. He's defining a cracker and.
Well, is he talking about the snack or about white people?
About white people. About white people. Apparently, he has a very specific definition.
So he doesn't have a problem with Ritz or anything.
If he's ever let in on his wonderful primetime news show for NBC with Rush, then they should probably get after him for saying all kinds of dumb stuff too. Like I say, consistency.
Well, according to this article, it looks like Rush is going to be filing for copyright infringement, which is going to include statutory damages and fines. So, I know that Rush Limbaugh, the man himself, has got a lot of money, but don't you feel that this is a little bit petty? Is Rush a little slim on the green these days that they got to go after Rush? Why don't they just sue him for